Hello, I'm Robbie. I will be leading the discussion for week two. Um, and so, getting right to it, in the romance section of the book, still connecting everything to having conversations and a digital age. One thing I like that she talked about was how she kind of explains how the person who texts becomes both the product for sale and the marketing manager. And which I thought was interesting. And then she kind of goes on and explains all the apps and how like dating is just different now, because of things like Tinder, Snapchat, things just the DMs, things just are a lot easier in some ways, which kind of brought up a story for me. Um, I remember in middle school, I was, dating this girl. I wouldn't really call it that in middle school, but we were seeing each other, but like it was only at school. So like the majority of the other time, we were just texting each other. I like just had this flip phone, um, and but there was really no relationship outside of texting because I would have like maybe one class with her in middle school, but I would be too scared to like go talk to her. It was those cringy middle school relationships. So I would really just see her at school. She was more of a 8 to 5 kind of gal, 8 to 3. But it's just interesting, having been in other relationships throughout the years where it doesn't involve as much on the phone. And yeah, I just thought it was an interesting chapter on that. um, Moving on to the education section, a quote that I liked that she said was on page 215. She said, in classrooms, the distracted are a distraction. Studies show that when students are in a class multitasking on laptops, everyone around them learns less. Which, I would agree with. And then she kind of goes on to explain that solution. Then the solution for distraction is not to help the students learn how to focus, but to change the learning environment to fit the students, which I thought was very interesting. I've definitely texted or done other things while I've been in class. It's very easy to do, so don't beat yourself up if you do that. But yeah, multitasking is super hard. I am terrible at it. I can only just do one thing at a time. Um, but yeah, but another cool section that I liked, was in the path forward section, when she kind of talks about how, phones are an option, not a necessity. Because I always think of my parents when I think about this, who just don't know anything about phones. But they're like, my parents are like older than most parents, so like they're past that generation, where like they just don't have phones, they just don't get anything. So I totally get why it's an option, not a necessity. That's definitely something that I will try to work on, not being on my phone so much. Um, but another cool thing that she said in this chapter, which you can kind of relate to last week's reading, on solitude, where she kind of says like we have to slow down because the most crucial conversations you will ever have are with yourself. And I think really only times we can have those conversations with ourselves are, when we're in solitude with ourselves and when we're just kind of alone and in our own thoughts. So I thought that was a cool connection. So 3 questions I have for you guys are: how has social media changed your view on relationships? What are some pros and cons of having a conversation both online and in person? And why do we sometimes avoid those difficult conversations? Yeah, thanks for listening.